Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to tell you how I overcame my fear of water, also known as aquaphobia. So stay tuned. Alright, so I am from Malaysia, right? And in my country, in our public schools, swimming isn't part of our syllabus, right? So in our extracurricular activities, swimming isn't taught. Therefore, most of us that go to public schools don't know how to swim unless some of our parents send us for classes, right? But for the most part, most of us don't know how to swim, right? So swimming has always been this thing that I have feared most. Water, especially deep water where I can't feel my feet, this has always plagued me throughout my life, right? And I remember once I was in a public swimming pool at a condominium, and my spectacles at that time went into the swimming pool, and I literally could not see, and I could not find, and I could not get my glasses, and I had to ask help because of my fear of going underwater to look for anything, right? So when I was a kid, that definitely hurt me a lot. But of course, when life went on, obviously we don't come in contact with swimming pools or sort of any kind of situations in a beach setting. But what happened is, I remember it was in 2018, where the company I was working for at the time, we went on a trip to this lake, and we had a team building activity where we were meant to build a raft. And this raft was meant to take us from one part of the beach to another, and we were meant to put the raft together and sit on the raft and start moving to the end. And I remember we firstly had to get to the lake, like literally be in the lake with our life jackets. And as soon as I hit the water, I could not feel my feet, and immediately my aquaphobia, or my fear of water, kicked in immediately, and I was panicking. I literally was grabbing anything I could get my hands on. So I was literally just hanging, holding on to this wooden pavement on the side, and I just didn't want to go anywhere. And I had my colleague of mine, she was so kind. She basically brought me, so I was holding on to her, and she was trying to give me some confidence and motivate me. You'll be okay, you'll be fine. And I was sort of still panicking, but not as much. And I remember my colleagues who didn't have fear of water, they were building the raft, but I just could not. I could not be in a water, deep water, without feeling my feet. That panic just started hitting me. And so I was on top of the raft, and while my other colleagues were pushing the raft from one side to the other. And I remember this colleague of mine at the time told me this thing. I'll never forget. He said, "Alban, what if one of your family members, your sons, your daughters, your wife was drowning? What would you do?" And that really hit me. It was a slap in the face. And from that day forward, I made a pledge to myself that I would learn how to swim regardless. So the week after, this colleague of mine offered to help me to swim, so to learn the basics. So we went to a condo pool, a condominium swimming pool nearby, and he taught me like breathing techniques, sighting, keeping your lane, and basically the basics of breaststroke, right? So which was extremely helpful. But I wanted more professional help, so I then opted for a coach, a professional swimming coach, and he basically taught me from A to Z, like survival skills, underwater, what you need to do, and he taught me breaststroke and also freestyle as well. So it was a 3-month sort of training, and after the 3 months, on the 4th month onwards, I was slightly more confident. But this fear of deep water still there was still some part of me that still feared, right, deep water, right, about 30-40%, still significant. Right? But because I knew how to swim, I could skate from one end to the other without literally panicking. And firstly, I could swim freestyle 100 meters non-stop. Then I started pushing myself. I did 200, did 300, 400, I did 500, and at one point I started doing 1 kilometer non-stop. And I had pretty much very good confidence with a swimming pool. So I thought to myself, hey, let's push myself. So I came to know of this open water swimming event that takes place all over Malaysia. So it takes place in Port Dickson Beach, in Perhentian Beach, in Langkawi, in Redang, and etc. So various beaches organize this event. And there was a beach in PD, which is pretty close to where I am, and I signed up for the event. And me not knowing anything about open water, obviously there was a part of me that was a bit fearful, right? I had no idea what to expect. So what I did is I joined a clinic. So I signed up for an open water swimming clinic where they teach you survival skills, sighting skills, basically what you need to look out for in an open water setting. So that really helped me a lot. And then I signed up for the event immediately. For the open water swimming event, it was a 2-kilometer race, and so I started prepping extremely hard. I got a coach just for one session to sort of train me on open water, to see my techniques, see what I can improve on. And he was like, hey, you'll do really well. So I mean, that was really nice of him to say. So anyways, then race day came, and I remember vividly, I was with other friends as well, and they were like ready to go. They were excited, and in me, I was fearful, right? Literally, I started having goosebumps, like no idea what to expect. I've never done this before, and I can remember I was pretty nervous at that time, right? So, anyways, the whistle blew. Everybody started running towards the starting line and started swimming. I remember I got slapped in the face. I was pushed. My goggles were moving, and I just started losing momentum. I tried so hard to build momentum, to just swim properly, but I just started panicking, right? And then immediately my fear of deep water kicked in again, and I started panicking. I had a panic attack, and I could not continue. I tried to continue, but I just can't. Like mentally, I was just stopped. Right. So, anyways, I started raising my hand. I asked for help. I approached the safety boat at that time, and I started calming my nerves. And I tried to swim again, and I just couldn't continue. So, anyways, I had to jump on the lifeboat, and I headed back to shore. And I had to cross the finish line without actually finishing the race. Right. I literally had to do the walk of shame, which was extremely embarrassing. And it really hurt me, I must say, because I trained so hard. At that time, I was already 2 years in training and swimming, and I just couldn't continue the race, right? Anyways, I thought to myself, no, I'm not going to give up. So what I did is I joined an open water swimming group, right? So where they teach you open water techniques, open water swimming to improve your stroke in an open water setting. And so I joined that group for about a year. I built a lot of confidence, and I thought to myself, hey, now I'm ready, let's go for the next event. And on my first event, I did a 2 km race, but now I thought, hey, maybe let's do a 1 kilometer race. So there was a nearer lake nearby to me, and they have this open water event yearly as well. So this year they had a 1 kilometer and a 2 and a 4. I did the 1, and so the whistle blew again. I swam, and I remember at one point I again had this panic attack. Right, the thing about open water swimming event, like, it's not like a conventional pool where you have people left, right, center. It's not like that, right? I mean, a lake is huge. So you can swimming and suddenly there's just nobody around you. You're literally alone, right? More or less. And again, I had this fear again. I started swimming and I panicked. And now the thing is that I've had this fear, but this time I was more confident. So what I did is I grabbed my buoy, a swimming buoy. So when you're doing any open water swimming, you're meant to use a buoy which is wrapped or tied around your waist. So I grabbed on my buoy and I started calming my nerves. And once I was calm, I continued to swim again. And I remember I reached the 500-meter checkpoint, made a U-turn, and I was coming back. I was swimming non-stop and I could literally see the finish line. And I raced towards the finish line, give it all my energy, and I managed to complete the race successfully. And boy, was it amazing! I received the medal, and it just gave me so much of confidence to start going for my next challenge, right? And then I immediately signed up for the PD 2 kilometer race, which is the one that I failed. I started practicing hard, but this time what I did is I joined an open water swimming group whereby they teach you open water swimming, what to expect, how do you train, improve your stroke, and etc. So I joined this group and my coach trained me once a week. We would have our sessions. So it took me almost about 6 months. I was training frequently every single week, and I remember this one time when I was swimming and my coach said, he was like, "Hey Alban, you cannot laugh." Right? And what that literally means in English is that you can't, man. And that really hit me, right? How your own coach could discourage you. And I was still determined, and so I thought to myself, no, I'm gonna go all out regardless. Still continue practicing and training. And then what I did is I signed up with another coach, with a private coach who gave me one-to-one coaching. She was extremely helpful. She improved my stroke. I was way faster than before and way more efficient in the water. And then the race day came, the PD 2 km. I remember when I was preparing for my race, during race day, I was way more confident. I knew what to expect. I had the experience before, so I'm like, I'll be fine, right? Anyways, the whistle blew and I ran towards the starting line and I started swimming. Again, same experience. People started pushing, shoving me, kicking me during the race. And I was all over the place, but again, I've had this experience before, so I knew what to expect. I still continued going. And the thing about open water swim, during the start of the event, there's a lot of people, but as you start swimming further, there's less people, almost none, right? So as I was swimming further, there was less people, so there's less disturbances. But the problem with open water swimming is there's waves, right? It will slap you left to right. The effort becomes more intense. But regardless, I pushed hard. Literally, my arms and my legs were aching, but I continued. Remember, I reached the first checkpoint, which was the 1 km checkpoint. I made a U-turn, and then I was coming back, and I could literally see, I could sight the finish line, but it was just extremely far. I still continued going, and on the last 100 meter, I was just extremely excited. I just couldn't wait, and literally my legs were aching, but I continued pursuing. I continued going, and I stepped on the ground. It was an amazing feeling, and then I ran towards the finish line. I could barely run at that point. I was so exhausted, and I completed it. I got my medal. And boy, what an amazing feeling that is. I completed the race in an astounding 54 minutes on my second try, which is an amazing achievement, I must say. And I was so satisfied. It was one of those achievements in my life that I will never forget, to be honest. It was a amount of pain and discouragement, that I had to go through, and the many times I wanted to give up. I was thinking, why am I even doing this? But I continued pursuing. Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is my story, how I overcame aquaphobia, or fear of water. This video is not about me, but it's about you. It's about how you can overcome any mountain of challenge, problems, weaknesses that you have, phobias, by just doing the work, right? Breaking down into smaller chunks and having increment wins during that time to achieve your big goal, right? Anything is possible. Believe in yourself, because nobody would. And just do the work and find people like yourselves who are also struggling, and work with expert coaches so they can get you to your goal. This channel I'm making, it's not only for me, it's for me to motivate all of you to share my stories, my journey, and to help you become the best version of yourself. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching my video. I really appreciate if you can like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps my channel to grow. And perhaps drop me a comment. What other fears have you overcome? What fears are you facing that you're having trouble with? Let me see if I can help you, and let's exchange ideas. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.